Time for our solution walkthrough for our filter flow assignment. And again, just looking at our assignment objectives here, remember that our first goal is to replicate Larry's matrix shown in the screenshot here. So we know we're going to need a matrix showing product key on rows with the sum of both order quantity and return quantity. Larry's called out that he's not seeing any row, any record showing sales for product 338. So we'll look at our data view and figure out which product number 338 actually is, and then try to explain why Larry's matrix didn't show any orders for that product. And then finally, we're going to hide some foreign keys. So let's jump into Power BI and see if we can make this work. All right, so I'm going to get started in the report view with this matrix visual that we already have, because it's already getting us pretty close. We've got order quantity and return quantity. The biggest difference here is that Larry's screenshot was showing product key on rows, and we're showing territory key. So let's go ahead and get rid of territory key. And the first thing I'm going to try is pulling in product key from the product lookup table. And that gives me accurate numbers. I can scroll through, but here I'm actually seeing product 338, whereas it was missing in Larry's screenshot. So this isn't the exact view that he was looking at, but it does give us some hints, right? We see that that product was sold 50 times and it was never returned. So in cases like this, where you're seeing a missing key when there should be values associated with it, that often points to pulling in fields from the wrong tables. So let's get rid of product key from our lookup table and pull in product key from our returns data table. There it is. Now let's scroll through, and we shouldn't see 338 here because there were no returns, and that's exactly what we see. It jumps from 336 to 340, so we're getting closer. The only difference now is that Larry wasn't seeing the same repeating totals in his screenshot. He was actually seeing realistic numbers for order quantity, and the only way we can really replicate that is by changing one of our relationships in the model from a one-way filter to a two-way. So let's go to our model view here. The filter we're really caring about here, the relationship, is the one between product lookup and returns. So let's double-click that one, and let's change the cross filter direction to both. Press OK. You should see the arrow icon change. Now if we jump back to our report, here we go. Now we're seeing the values that Larry was seeing, right? Looks like these are accurate order quantities. In fact, they are for any product key that exists. But the problem is that any product that wasn't returned, like product 338, is going to be missing from this visual, because that filter context started in the returns table, passed through the lookup, and down to the sales table. So even though product 338 was sold, it doesn't appear here in the matrix. So that's step one. We've successfully replicated Larry's matrix, and in fact, we've described why he's seeing what he's seeing. The two remaining steps are to identify what product 338 actually is, and then hide any remaining foreign key fields to prevent other users from doing this in the future. So let's go to the data view here. We can jump right into our product lookup table, which contains our product keys. And let's scroll down to 338, which is right here. Looks like it's a road bike, the Road 650 Black 44. So that was the product that was sold 50 times but never returned. And final step, we'll do this in our model view, is to hide the foreign keys in our returns data. And we'll also change that cross filter direction between product lookup and returns data from both to single. So let's start with our foreign keys. I like to just click the icon here. Let's go ahead and hide the product key column from the returns data table. We'll also hide return date and territory key. That looks good. Now let's select that cross filter relationship, change it back to single in the properties pane, and click apply changes. There we go. Looks good. Back to one way. Now let's go back to our report view. We see those repeating totals because now we've lost that two-way relationship. We're back to one way. And check this out. If we remove product key, which we had pulled from the returns table, and we try to add it back, now we won't even be able to find it in that returns data table, which is exactly what we want. The only place we can get it is where we should be able to find it, which is the primary key version of product key, which lives in the product lookup table. And there we go. All our filters look good. So that's your solution video for our filter flow assignment.